Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mind.Less.Full. On this episode, we have the amazing Caroline Conlon from Inner Healing with Caroline. She's so amazing, and I'm so grateful she's here. She has a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. She's a life coach. She works with limiting beliefs. And I have been so lucky that I have had a session with Caroline. And I'll tell you all about it because it's so amazing. But thank you so much, Caroline, for being here.
Kira, thanks very much for having me. I'm nervous but excited, and just to share what I do and who it is that I help.
Yeah. And I suppose for me, bringing anyone on, like often when we train in all these courses or we get into like your mindset or understanding that we have limiting beliefs and they may be blocking us, but there's a reason. So I'd love for you to tell everyone like how you got into this or what brought you down this path.
Yeah, so actually, it's mainly belief coding that I work with at the moment. So that's working with the subconscious mind. But how I actually got into it was, I suppose I have two beautiful girls, and after the second one, I suffered very bad with postnatal depression. And I actually got into a very dark place. Had to take some time off my job and stuff like that. And I started working on myself. It was actually somebody when I went back to work after maternity, they gave me the book, The Secret. I know you're familiar with
Yeah.
it as well. And I started reading that and I was like, God, if I change my mindset a little bit here and if I start speaking more positive for myself and being nicer to myself, and I just started feeling that it was starting to uplift me. Now, I did obviously go to the GP and stuff like that, and I went on to St. John's Wort, and that worked for me. Um, so as I said, I took a little bit of time off and I started working on myself. So kept doing jumping onto courses online, all about mindset and stuff like that. My mind was opened up to manifesting as well. And you live the life that you want by, talking to yourself nicely, speaking nice things about your life, and just being kind to yourself. And I think I had lost that along the way of just being nice to myself. Um, but I'm very nice to everyone else and very good to everyone else. So I was a giver and a people pleaser, but maybe not so much to myself. And I've recognized that over the last few years, that has been one of the things I've had to heal in myself. So then a few years later, I decided that I'd become a life coach. The course is calling out to me, and my life just opened up completely different. I've seen a different world altogether about working with the mind, how we can look at different things from different perspectives, and how about setting goals for yourself. But not just that, just taking action in your life towards whatever it is that you want. So I done that. And then I trained in belief coding, which is mainly what I work with people at the moment. And I absolutely love it. It's amazing. It's a modality that is quite new. So it's only out in the last 3 or 4 years. Jess Cunningham is the co-founder of it. And basically what it does is it works with your subconscious mind. So the easiest way to be with is say that you're feeling lacking in confidence or something in your life, but it may be coming back to something in your earlier days that you felt unworthy, or something that you have been a trait that a teacher might have taught you, said to you, or parent might have said to you, or even somebody might have just made a comment one day and it made you feel a certain way. So when you go to belief coding, we go down to different, I suppose, past experiences will come up. You think, oh God, they're not going to come up, but they do automatically. Your subconscious opens up and allows me to work with you. And they automatically comes up the stories we're telling ourselves. And basically, we'll go to the earliest time you felt that discomfort. We unattach the emotion from it, from that memory. So you'll always remember it, but you won't feel that emotion. Oh God, I remember when she said that to me. That really hurt. That will be gone. You remember it, but you won't feel it, and it allow you to progress in your life. So, yeah.
Oh, and I was so lucky that I got to experience a belief coding session with Caroline. And I still am blown away. I've told so many people about it. Like you said, like the subconscious, like we hold on to things from like we could be holding on to something. For me, it was a 1 year old that we worked on something that from, I was holding on from 1 years old. But I was blown away at how, you use your body as a pendulum because I'd never done kinesiology before. but I was just fascinated. It was so amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about it, especially when I done the life coaching, it was with neuroscience too. So
Yeah.
it's all about your mind and your body is all connected. And I think people are beginning to realize that more and more, that we hold on stuff in our mind, but we also hold on to it and the emotions in our bodies. And I sure look at I do it myself. Like something hurts you or somebody says something and it triggers you and you feel emotional, but you haven't time to do it. So you push it down and you keep going in life. And we all do it. But you keep pushing and pushing them emotions down and they have to come up eventually. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And whether it is through, emotionally that you're stuck in your life, or
Mm,
whether it is that actually you get sick in yourself. Because if you
yeah.
keep pushing, especially if they're big emotions and you keep pushing them down, they've gone through some sort of trauma in your life, especially, they are going to come out eventually. Or if you're living in a stressful environment all the time and you keep just trying to get through it, I have to get through it one day at a time, I have to get through it. Yeah, you do. But if you keep feeling that in your body, it's going to come up somehow. And unfortunately, illness ends up coming out of a lot of it. So I have worked with people in all areas of their life. So I've worked with, it's so funny because when people come on to me, they'll say, oh, I want to work with, oh, I'm not feeling confident in myself. But it'll end up being something completely
Yeah.
else by the time I have delved down. So when a session starts, they're usually about maybe an hour and a half to 3 hours. And we allow that amount of time because some people can be up in 3 hours, but some people can be just an hour and a half. It depending on what it is they're dealing with, not the trauma of it necessarily. It depends on how many times we have to go back. And
Yeah.
you felt this as well,
Mm,
that where you felt that emotion throughout your
yeah.
life at different stages, and
Mm,
it'll automatically come up. So it might be that I don't feel worthy of myself. Okay, so we will delve down. You're automatically be like, all right, I remember the first somebody said such and such a thing, and a story will come up. So we'll
mm,
work through that, and then you'll be like, oh God, I remember actually when I was younger, my teacher said that, and that story will come up, and then you'll be like, oh God. And as you said, something could come up that it was 1 years
mm,
of age. Now it mightn't be directly to you, but you
yeah.
were in the surroundings of,
Mm,
maybe a lot of us would be our
yeah.
parents, and they might be talking about, oh, we don't have money, we're barely making ends meet, or you might see your mother, your father not being worthy in some
Mm,
parts of their life, and you take that on as a child.
yeah.
What do they say? We're sponges when we're children.
Mm,
So we
yeah.
take on all the emotions and the environment around us.
Yeah.
And so it's we go back, keep going back until we get to the very first go, and we'll know when we've got to that, the very first time you felt that, and we work on that emotion. And we also code in brand new beliefs. So
Mm,
that's where the emotional, the positive psychology comes into a part of it. So I think what I really liked about belief coding was I've gone to counseling and stuff like that throughout the past myself for different times in my life, and I always found it amazing. But sometimes I felt I was so raw after the session, and it'd be another week before I was there, that I was like, oh God, I really need to feel better. I need, but I have another week to wait. Where I liked with belief coaching that you come in, we deal with what it is, but you always leave on a good note. You
yeah.
always feel really good and you're very light is a lot what people say. I feel very light on myself. I don't know what you've done, but I feel very light on
Yeah.
myself. I feel like a weight's been lifted off their shoulder. And I like to use the analogy is, and we got this when we were training, is it's like carrying around a backpack, and it's full of rocks.
Mm,
So by you coming to a belief code and you're taking each rock out at a time, and you're taking that weight and that pressure off yourself that you're carrying around with you on a daily basis. And we all do it,
mm,
but it's to acknowledge it and it's to start working on yourself to get rid of some of them rocks. And the good thing about the belief coding is sometimes you might take one rock out, but sometimes it might actually impact a few different rocks in your area in your life, and you'll actually be taking a load out. So it depends on what it is you work with. It depends if we get to the right thing. But one session a lot of the time works.
mm.
But sometimes if it's a big area in your life and you're feeling, we'll say if it's anxious, but I'm anxious at home and I'm anxious at work and I'm anxious in other situations, you might need one or two sessions to get through that because it's obviously different areas in your life and one mightn't do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was, and when you said about feeling light, literally afterwards, the end, I just literally felt up around my head, especially kind of around my third eye. I just felt like this light come in.
Yeah.
But exactly what you shared was what I experienced, because you know the way you're sharing it, but because I've actually experienced, like it's to give an insight for someone listening who might be like, oh, I'd love to have a session. Like exactly what you said. Like, you were clearing things for me that I was maybe holding on, or that I was in an environment of, not
Yeah.
specifically, like a 1 year old isn't really going to have these big limiting beliefs.
No.
But I may have came in with them, or my home life, or my
And you
parents,
felt
or
that
whatever.
emotion, whatever
Yeah,
it was that was going on
yeah,
around, you felt it and you carried it with you.
yeah, yeah,
So therefore, whatever it was, you carried
mm,
that out. And then different little things in
yeah,
life that happens on
mm,
enforces that. So
yeah,
you felt it again and it enforced it more, and you felt it again and enforced it more. So now you're coming to the age of
yes,
20, 30,
mm,
40, and you're like, God, I cannot do that because I have no confidence in myself. But why have you no? And we tend to repeat things in our mind. Oh, that's not me. I'm very
yeah,
shy. I'm a very quiet girl. You might have been told that all your life. I'm very shy and I'm very quiet. Therefore, you feel it. But are you really? Maybe you need to work on that belief that you're not quiet and shy. Maybe you're actually quite confident in yourself. You've just never allowed yourself to feel that.
yeah. Oh, I love that, because that's it. A belief is a belief until it isn't.
100%. And we carry them around in all areas in our lives. And, where they arise a lot of the time is when you feel triggered by people that's around you. I think people are around you, um, whether it be family or friends or people at work, and they may trigger you. But what they're triggering what you feel triggered by is what's highlighting inside you that needs to be healed. There's something there that you wouldn't feel it otherwise. It'd just wash over you, but you feel it because there's something there that needs to be healed in you.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a gift from them. It's easy to be like, why
Yeah.
are they making me feel that way? But if you can bring yourself back and be like, what are they trying to teach you? You can call your power back, can't you?
100%. And God, I have had to do that several
Mhm.
times in the last few years, especially in the training. But that's one thing it's made me do, is sit back when I'm triggered. It mightn't happen straight, it might be a day later, and I'd be like, right, why did I feel that? What did that bring up in me? What is it that I need to look at here? And
Yeah,
that's what it is in us all. Unfortunately, we don't allow ourselves the time
yeah.
to allow us to feel that and to deal with it. Because if you do, I'm telling you, it's just, as I said, taking that one thing out of your backpack that you're not carrying anymore with you.
Yeah, and right now, the world we live in, I don't know, do you agree? But I think people's backpacks have got bigger and heavier. So they might be like, oh, sure, I don't have time to do this. But if anything, it's even more important to do the inner work on yourself, or have some support.
People are so busy in their lives. We
Yeah.
all are. We're so busy. We're either have families, we're working full time. You might be caring for family members like parents or whatever else. Work is busy. You're taking on all of this, and then you're coming home and you're having to get the dinners, or you're having to whatever, or you're involved in voluntary. Everyone is so, we're making ourselves so busy in life. We all are. But we do need to try and pare it back and start working on ourselves and looking after us. Because if we go down, everything else falls down around us. We need to just mind us. And that's what I'm very much about, because I think I've had to learn that myself in the last few years, to start minding myself. But I found it even here in my home. There's a lot more of a calm, there's a lovely energy. People say it when they come into the house, but it's because I've worked on me. It's a ripple effect on everyone else. And the same as if you go into a house where somebody's really stressed and tense, you can feel it. You can feel it off the people around them.
Yeah, yeah. I think, we can deny that we're all energy. The way, like, obviously we've our body, but like energy is very real. Exactly like you said, people can feel like if they're in your presence, and you're given uplifting energy, that will trickle down. But also if you're stressed, but within a household for a mother, because I think would you work with mothers a lot?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do. I work with mothers a lot. I've worked with a lot of mothers, probably in their 40s, that are just feeling lost in themselves,
yeah,
or they find it hard to deal with their teenage kids. They might be going
mhm,
through a rough time and they are finding it hard in themselves. And
yeah,
you've also got the onset of menopause and perimenopause. You've all that going on. But I've worked with people with that too. Actually, I got a session done on myself with brain fog. And after one session, the brain fog was gone.
wow,
And I was so bad with brain fog that I was finding it very difficult, which is unlike me because I talk quite a lot, but I was finding it very difficult to talk. I get my words all jumbled up. And then I would repeat to myself, oh, there's no point, I'm getting all mixed up. And I just walk away. And I kept doing that again,
mm,
impending the belief in me, oh, sure, there's no point because I keep getting my words mixed up. I'm in perimenopause. So
wow.
therefore, it was telling my brain, yeah, you're right. This is what's happening. And this is what we do. And I
Mm.
got a session done on it, and the brain fog just genuinely lifted. I couldn't believe how clear my thoughts were, how clear my wording was, just like that,
Wow. Within one session.
within one session.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing. Well,
yeah,
within my one session, to give
yeah.
people an insight, we
Go
worked
for it.
on like money beliefs. And one of the new codes we put in was I am a successful businesswoman. And the next day I was in Westport and there was I've written a book and I there's a bookshop that I have tried many times to go into to get sort things out with my book. And I was just walking past the bookshop and I couldn't hear the belief, you're a successful businesswoman. You need to go in there and sort that out. And then for a second, I was kind of like, oh my goodness, because I was kind of taken aback. And then I went in and I said, right. And within 10 minutes, I had sorted stuff out that I had been trying to do before I went to Australia, probably nearly over 2 years ago. And I came out and I was buzzing. And I actually had I was the cash in my hand. I was like, oh my goodness. And I kept being like, I am a successful businesswoman. I sent my sister a photo and I was like, she was like, whoa. Do you know, like, I suppose that was me seeing the belief play out. And it was also something that I would have done probably a week or two before that. I didn't. And it was amazing to witness.
And I remember you leaving me a
Yeah,
voice
I
note, if you
had
don't
to
mind me
send
sharing.
Caroline a
And
voice
she
note.
was so
Yeah,
excited on the voice note
yeah,
saying, I don't know what you've done to me, but
yeah,
guess
yeah,
what I'm after
yeah,
doing? And
yeah, yeah.
and it is because you had the inner belief. Your
Mm,
mind was like, it was
yeah,
clear. I am
yeah,
a businesswoman. I'm going to go in and
yeah,
get my
yeah.
you was very clear, and
Mhm.
there was no doubt there. And
Yeah,
this is what the beliefs we carry around with. It's just stuff that we've coded in over a few years, and
yeah,
that's what we decode. So basically, a session starts with, it's a bit like a life coaching
yeah,
session in the beginning. We sit down, we dig deep. You say, I'm coming with such a thing, and I keep going and asking you questions until we figure out exactly. And I can tell when you hit the points like, oh, that's what I need to work on. And you know it, and I know it by you.
yeah.
And we go through the session then where we dig deep into where the memories have come from. We use your human compass, which is what you were talking about. And
Yeah.
that's where basically it's getting us to connect with our bodies and to ask our bodies, where does this emotion come from?
Mm,
Now, for some people, this might sound a little bit, oh yeah, that's a little bit wishy-washy and I'm not into that sort of stuff. But what I'm going to tell you is it's all science
mm,
backed at the moment. We've actually been published in the British Medical Journal, and they're publishing in other medical journals where we've a neuroscientist that's working alongside belief coding, and they're going through trials at the moment of different things. They're actually looking at Alzheimer's and dementia as well in relation to it, because it's actually working with 32 points in the brain at once, where everything else might only work with 10 or 15. So
mm.
it um, really is, it's exciting. They're
Mm.
doing trials and the menopause, as I said, and they've got really good
Wow.
reports back
Yeah.
from that, and they'll be published soon. What other is, but they're looking at working with children too,
Mm.
different things around. But like, definitely, like what I ended up doing is I'll work with somebody on something, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, actually, my daughter could do this. Could you work on my daughter?" And so, and I'd be like, "Yeah, if they're
Yeah.
willing to work with me,
Mm.
talk to them about it, tell them
Yeah.
what I do." And honestly, I've worked with people in their 20s where they've no confidence and they can't face life anymore and they've got jobs out of it.
Yeah.
I've worked with people in that are dealing going through pregnancy difficulty, which can be a very sensitive subject, but it's the belief where they've tried several times and it's not working, and it's the belief they've built up in themselves. Like,
Mm.
I've had a few people that have got pregnancy out of it, but I've also had a few people that have just learned to accept their bodies and
Mm.
be grateful for their bodies,
Yeah.
and an inner peace in themselves, which
Mm.
is, it can be a lot that we could all do at the times. Um, and again, I've worked with people with self-worth is a big thing, and I dealt with that myself. But self-worth and confidence is two big
Yeah.
things that women, like when you dig down into it, whatever it is they're dealing with, a lot of it is self-worth and feeling
Mm.
worthy of it, or
Yeah.
money, life,
Mm.
career. I've dealt with people that've gone into jobs that thought they weren't able for the jobs or fit for the jobs, but it was their dream job. But when they got
Yeah.
into it, they got, oh, I don't know. And I've, worked with that and they've been fine
Mm.
working with teams and everything else. I've dealt with actually a gentleman that worked with part of a team, and he just was nervous and going up and
Mm.
speaking in front of them. He was one
Yeah.
to one was great, but in
Yeah.
front of them he couldn't. So again, that was a childhood belief that he had. So I mean, it works in all areas, is what I'm saying. I've dealt with pain, actually migraines. That's another thing I've dealt with, yeah, and
Mm.
eased the migraines. My girl was getting them on a daily basis, and then she didn't get them. When I contacted her a month later, she had got two, I think she said, within the month, where she normally would get one a day.
Mm.
So yeah.
That's amazing. And like our beliefs can be sneaky, like, can't they?
It can be, and that's what I'm saying about pushing them down to.
Yeah.
You could have a pain in your left
Yeah.
shoulder and it's there for months and it's just driving you mental. But it could be an emotion that's trapped in
Yeah.
your body. And I know again that sounds wishy-washy, but I keep saying to people, and before all training and before seeing it myself, I would have thought a little bit about that too. But as I said, it's science backed now. And
Mm.
I have seen it with work with people that they go, I have
Yeah.
this pain in my shoulder. I go, all right, we're going to work on that actually, and
Mm.
we'll release whatever it is there. And they'll be like, do you know what? That pain hasn't bothered me for the last week.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pushing emotions down inside us. It has to go somewhere.
Mm. Yeah. And our body is so clever. I don't know, would you agree with this that the body is nearly the last place it will come out?
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. Yeah.
And like illness, we don't want anyone to be ill, but it's the body's way of saying we can't hold this anymore. It needs to
It's
come
like
out.
the old thing. I remember doing a course and listening to Bob Proctor, if anyone knows him, he was
Oh,
on
I
The
love
Secret as
them.
well.
Yeah.
And he was saying that disease is a dis-ease in your
Mm,
body. Break it down with
yeah.
the word disease. It's a dis-ease in your body. And it's what's the disease? It's emotion we're carrying. It's
Yeah.
whatever we're carrying around. It's what was done wrong to us. It's what them people said to us. It's how life is hard on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the belief you're carrying that life is hard on you.
Mm,
Do you
yeah.
know? We need to let it go. We've one life and we might as well live it our best. And even with our teenagers, and we are in a mental health crisis in this country and worldwide probably too. And we really need to come, I feel, together with all the different disciplines, the psychologists, the counselors, the holistic people, everything, belief coaching, the whole lot, and just work together. Whatever works for you here and now, go and try it out and see does it work. If it
Yeah.
works, good. Why not
Mhm.
make life easier for yourself? That's my
Yeah.
thoughts on it.
Oh, I agree. And I think what we've been doing up to now isn't working the way it was. So we
Yes.
need new things and we need different ways of working because the world has changed, so it
Yeah.
makes sense that we've new ways of working with people. And my background would be working with children and teenagers. And even when you're saying this, like if that's the world I see, this being in schools or kids understanding their beliefs. Because if
Yes.
the secret crossed your path as well, the same as me. And I remember the first time being like, oh my goodness, it was like a light bulb moment. Did you get that
Yeah.
as well?
A hundred
Understanding,
percent.
oh my goodness, what I think about, my thoughts are important, are
Yeah.
really playing out.
And it's not even just about manifesting it,
Yeah,
because I'm a big believer in the manifesting, but it does come from your
yeah,
beliefs. If you
mm,
believe that you're not worthy of something, how the hell can you get it into your
yeah,
life? And it might come in, but it might go quickly again as well,
mm,
because you don't have the belief to hold on to it because you're not worthy of it.
yeah,
And it's the same with the kids, I suppose. You're right. If you get it into young kids,
yeah,
like, and just to say, well, mommy and daddy might believe that. That doesn't mean that's right, though. What do you think? Let
yeah.
them think for themselves a little bit.
Oh yeah, I used to do work with children and I would show them. I don't know, have you ever heard of Dr. Emosho? He did studies on water, but he did studies of, if you put it into Google, you'll see, and he did thought forms. And I hate myself on water is black and awful and yucky. And then I love myself looks like a beautiful snowflake.
Yeah. And I've seen stuff like that too, even with
Mm,
plants. If you talk
yeah.
bad to a plant for
Yeah.
a month and talk good to a plant for a month, I know it
Mm,
sounds crazy to
yeah.
some people, but just even try it. You'll see
Yeah.
the plant that you're giving good and positive thoughts
Mm,
to grows and flourishes where the other one starts failing.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
So there
children.
is something in the energy and the thoughts,
Mm,
again, with plants, animals, and
yeah.
with ourselves. If you're feeding yourself with stuff all the time in your brain, like it's going to, I don't know, I felt it at times. I said, I'm carrying so much in my head. I said, my head is going to explode
Yeah.
trying to, the calendars for the kids and the calendars for work and trying to keep
Mm,
everything going. Your head is just going to, but we need to just calm it down a bit and just take some of that
mm,
out of it. and be
Yeah.
kind to ourselves.
Mm, yeah. And like say for someone who is 30s, 40s, 50s who might be listening to this and they're like that can actually be quite stressful thinking, oh my God, how do I change my thoughts when they've had 30, 40 years of all these thoughts? But that's why something like this would be so helpful.
Oh my
Do you
God,
know?
so helpful. So helpful.
Mm,
Um, because again, you might just come and sit in front of me and say, I'm not quite sure what it is I'm here for, but I need something. But I will work with you and see what
mm,
it is you need to deal with. There's
yeah,
one thing that will come up that day that needs to be worked on.
yeah,
It'll automatically just come up, and I'll ask questions, we'll dig deep into it, and you will, and I'll guarantee you coming away, and that's a guarantee, you will always come away feeling lighter and better in yourself. I've experienced it myself. I've had to do all this training. I still
yeah,
am. I get people to work on me and I work on them as part of keeping the uptake on ourselves as well, because we don't want to get triggered when we're working with people either. Do you
yeah.
know? But yeah, I guarantee people come away feeling better in themselves. And that's what it's about. Why
Yeah.
not? Life is too short.
Oh yeah, and you've got the most beautiful energy and like real like uplifting, like you, honest to God. And actually, when I brought you on and I introduced you, I never mentioned that you're Rahanni practitioner as well.
Oh, yes. I
And
love a
then
clearer
and
trainer.
afterwards, then I was like, I have to say that I kept hearing in my head, you better mention that. Do you know? But you've got a beautiful, beautiful energy, and
Oh, thank
like
you.
you feel the passion even when you're talking there. And I think even that alone, like that passion and that drive to help people, is just so. I know for myself, but for you, like, does it just
Oh, yeah.
give you life? Like,
I love people. I
yeah,
always did love people, and I love listening to their stories, just sitting with them,
mm,
listening to
yeah,
what, I love figuring out what makes them tick. Like,
mm,
just listen to them and where their
yeah,
stories are coming from. And I suppose that's why belief coding works so well for me, because I do
mm,
listen, I hear where their
yes,
stories and what their
yeah.
patterns are. And but yeah, I've done the Rahanni and I'm doing breath work as well at the
Yes.
moment, training. So that will be again amazing to bring into the belief code
Mm,
individually. Like,
yeah.
the breath sometimes people cannot talk about, especially if it's a deep trauma, people cannot
Yeah.
talk about it, but we're using the breath, it
Mm,
can release that out of the body as well. Um, and yeah, the Rahanni was just beautiful actually. I
mm,
trained under Kira, and
mm,
again, it was something that just called to me, and I just like, you know what, that sounds lovely for me.
mm,
But I've just experienced it, and it's just lovely to give to other people as
mm.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very grateful for that too. So, but all these little
Yeah.
tools in our toolkit, when a person comes and be like, I know what you need. You need a little bit of this and a bit of that. And you know what? As long as you walk away feeling better, that's what it's all about.
Mm. But you're listening to your intuition, aren't you? Like you're
Yeah.
trusting the call.
Totally, totally, totally. But yeah, the belief coding is really changing lives. And
Mm.
I think their plan eventually is to try and get it into the health services. That's what they'd like. And that's why they're
Yeah.
publishing it in papers, because it really, really works. We have counselors actually training in it, and um, there's a psychotherapist or two training in it as well, because
Yeah.
they can see that it gets to the root a lot quicker than
Mm.
other therapies. And that's not ditching any therapies, because I've done them all myself, to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
honest, but I think they all work hand in hand together. But definitely belief coding gets to the root of it.
Mm.
It's not just talk therapy. It
Yes. Yeah.
actually gets to the emotion, where you're actually feeling it in your body, where the root of it is. And you honestly do feel relief. And there's a lot of people that might cry and get upset in the middle of a session because it's really deep and it's really anchored inside them. They're letting go of a lot of stuff, but you will always feel lighter. You'll feel freer afterwards. And the thing after a session then is I'd always check in a few days later to make sure you're okay, but a month later as well,
Yeah.
because we set little things, how do you know if this has worked? And people are always like, wow, yeah, it
Mm.
did. And again, the recommendations
Yeah.
come from, like, and at the
Yeah.
moment I'm in the middle of building a cabin at the moment, so that'll be hopefully
Mm.
ready in the next few weeks, so I can see people in line, online, sorry, in person, because everything I've done so far is online on Zoom, and it works very well in that. And I've worked with
Yeah.
people all over the world, and it works very well on that. But if people want it in person, and I love the little bit in person as well, to be honest,
Mm.
the people contact, it works that way too. Yeah.
Wow. There's no stopping you now. All these courses and the cabin.
And the cabin, the cabin at the
Yeah.
back of the house. But yeah, or yeah, look at it's something I wanted. It's my own
Yeah.
space to go into, and
Yeah.
you know yourself, is to go out of the house and
Yeah.
to have my own space doing it, and closing the door at the end of
Yeah.
the day and coming back out of it. So it's just having that space for myself for it, and for the people that come to me as well.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah.
if someone is listening now, anyone, a mom, a woman, a
Yeah.
man, and they're struggling and they're like, oh, I need something, or do you have any advice for them, even that they could do today or like in the next few days?
Wow. Well, if you're feeling triggered,
Mm,
one thing I would say, if something annoys you, if a person says
mm,
something and they annoy you, when you step away from that evening when you go home, whatever else, you're sitting down having a cup of tea, just say, God, why did they annoy me so much? What was it that bothered me so much about that? And just sit with that and figure that out. Um, Make a list if you're just bogged down your head with an awful load of stuff. I know it's an old fashioned thing, make a list, but make a list. Just get it out of your head, especially before you go to bed at night, if you can at all. Instead of it all going round in your head, just make a list by your bedside and go and just declutter your brain a little bit.
yeah,
Decluttering your home is another great thing as well. I find that mentally brilliant. But I've said it to a few people at work and they do it and they find it because it declutters your brain, especially as a
yeah,
woman. It's a bit
yeah,
sexist here, but
mm,
you declutter your house, you declutter your brain an awful lot too. And it
yeah,
just gives you more space. So there are a few little tips. And to ground yourself is a new thing I like to do is walk outside in the lawn. Just
yeah,
or go for a walk. Go for your
yeah,
walk with your dog. Don't even bring the headphones, just go for a walk and just
yeah,
listen. Listen to the
mm,
birds, listen to nature.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they're absolutely amazing tips and
Yeah.
so simple, aren't they? Do you know?
So simple, but I've had to implement them
Mm,
myself, but so
yeah,
simple and they do actually work.
yeah. Oh, and where's the best place for people to go to get all the
I
information?
love with Instagram. So I'm
Yeah,
on Inner Healing with Caroline on
yeah.
Instagram, but you'll also find me on TikTok and Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm in the process of building a website. So that's
Okay.
will be Inner Healing with Caroline as well.
Oh, and I will share, I'll tag you in all of those things. But
Wonderful.
I just want to wish you so much luck. You don't even need the luck because you've got all those magnificent beliefs behind you, do you know?
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
I think it's exciting for the world as well to see things like this coming in, and the fact the science is behind that.
Yeah.
I think it will get to places
And
quickly.
I think that's important too, because I
Yeah.
even see with people that work in front of me that I work with would be very logical and minded, and
Yeah.
that's fine too.
Mm,
Where they're like, "Oh God, what you want me to say? What
mm,
you want to do? What?" But with
yeah.
it's science based.
Mm,
It show you the research papers. It does work.
yeah. Yeah, well, we're going to manifest it into schools.
Yes, I do believe so.
Oh, because I don't know about you, but when I read The Secret, I was like, I was in my 20s, and I remember being like, imagine understanding that at 6, 7, 8, and just being, you weren't learning, you just knew it.
Oh, I look at, and I just say it to my teenagers, and they'll be like, "Oh, ma'am," and they'll be looking up at heaven.
Yeah.
But I do know I've implanted the seed
Yeah.
somewhere,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's all you need to do.
Yes. Oh, that's all. I used to work with teenagers and they'd be like, you're not. I'd be telling them, I'm like, you're powerful. And they'd be like, kind of giving the eyes. But then a few weeks later, they tell me that they manifested something.
A hundred
And I'd be
percent.
like, oh, did you know?
100%. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. They're
so,
dads.
and that's what they need is a bit of awe and magic. The way, like, even if you think that you're powerful and your thoughts and you can change your beliefs, it gives you your power rather than the world that we live in. Sometimes everyone thinks, they don't feel like they're in power, that they're not in control. Whereas if you think you can change your beliefs, you feel more in control, don't you?
Oh, 100%. And I even say to the people like at work or even my
Yeah.
girls, they'd be like, "Oh, that's not going to work out for me." I'd be like, "Well, it has
Yeah.
50% chance of working for you. So why do
Yeah.
you think it's not?" But you see, that's another thing too. I don't
Mm.
think people realize that we're all wired to be
Mm.
negative thinkers.
Yeah.
The first thing we go to is negativity. Every single person on this earth, that's the way we're all wired. So it's up to us to try and change that. And the more you get into the habit of changing, the way you look at things or the way you say things to yourself or out loud, the easier it becomes. You just naturally do it. I think I drive people mad sometimes because they say something, I go, "Oh yeah, but it could work out," and they'd be like, "Oh yeah."
I do that too. I actually am a devil for that. Now I've stopped. Do you know when you know someone and
You
they're
do,
a
yeah.
few times and you're like they're not ready? Because I suppose
No,
they have to be willing. You can tell them and you can highlight what they're saying, but they have to be willing to do the work, don't they?
100%. And look, it's the same as belief coding. Even
Mm,
when people ask me, well, can my daughter work with you or whatever? And I'd be like, need to talk to them and tell them what it is first. And I do a discovery call a lot of the time, not all the time, depends on the people, but I do a discovery call a lot of the time just to for them to sit and talk to me and see, yeah, actually, I could work with her, I could do this.
yeah,
Because it's important. It's no point in throwing away your money and you feel it didn't work for you. And especially that the people are open, as you said, you have to be open to hear it. You have to be open to work on yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I am you're we're logging off now. I have one more thing to ask you.
Good.
Have the people in your life changed because you've changed? Would you have noticed? Like I don't know if
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. But again, that comes back to the energy, I think.
Mm,
But definitely 100%. I can tell you those times in my life where I was very negative and I just felt I might have given persona that life was great, but I definitely felt it inside that things weren't great or I was struggling in different areas of my life. And I can definitely feel it in my home with my kids, my husband, and even the boundaries I've set up in my own life around me with people, the people I allow into me. And that's a big thing too. People need to just put boundaries up with people. If
yeah,
they're not giving you good energy or if they're bringing you down, you need to just, it's not that you're getting rid of them out of your life, but you just need to put boundaries up of when you see them,
yeah,
when you feel is right. You know what I mean? And we need to again, and that just look at the people come in and out of our lives. We all change. They're growing and changing. You're growing and changing. Things will always move in and out, and it's to accept that.
yeah,
We're human.
yeah. Oh, well, I could talk to you forever. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Kira. Seriously, it's been lovely to have the chats with you.
Oh, and I think we're going to have to give a mention that we beforehand the internet was kind of jumping, but we put our intention on. Now we did have a little move around as well, but it was fine. It didn't jump at all.
Yes, we've done good today now.
We did, because we had recorded one before and it was kind of jumping a bit too much. But we asked all our support, the angels, all the beautiful energy we called in, and yeah. So,
To
and I
support us and let this run
yeah.
smoothly, and I really did.
And
And it was a
that's it.
lovely.
Yeah,
Mm.
but thank you so much. And I suppose from having a limiting belief session, um, I highly recommend. And I have recommended it to lots of people. And yeah, best of luck with everything. And thank you.
Thank you too, Kira. Thanks very much.